Okay, so we're going to get started with the Wakanda Quarterly Update. It's our April 2014 edition. I've got Ricardo Mello on the line. My name's Greg McCarvell. We're going to be going through everything that's new with Wakanda. I'm going to be doing an example of a technique that I think would be useful to you. And of course, Ricardo's going to be going through some feature demos and various other tidbits. So let's get started. I'm going to go through a few slides first. We've got an agenda. First up, I want to say congratulations to Ricardo, and please take it easy on him today. If you hear him yawning, he has a brand new addition to his family just within the last week, I think. So congratulations, Ricardo. That's great news. We're going to do a quick intro for new developers. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because we're going to be tight on time as it is. I'm going to do an overview of some business aspects, and we're going to go through, I'm going to do a server-side templating demo. I saw some conversation in the forum on that, and I wanted to give you a demo of some of the techniques that I've been experimenting with lately. Then we've got Ricardo's going to take over. He's going to be going through some new features, in particular with Wakanda 8, which was just launched. He's going to give you some updates on the roadmap. And then we're going to wrap it up as we usually do with some live question and answer. And like I said, you can go ahead and start submitting questions anytime. We'll tackle those at the end. So just quickly, the Wakanda Platform, for anyone who's brand new, it's a full stack. We use JavaScript and web standards throughout. So you're using JavaScript on the server side. We have a relational NoSQL data store, a JavaScript engine, and a web server. All of your queries and interfacing with the data store is in a JavaScript-like syntax. Basically, the server is a nice, neat package that's you can transport very easily. And we suggest you give it a try. There's a lot of learning resources on the site. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that today. We've got a client framework that contains, we have a full widget set for both desktop and mobile. We're making a lot of progress improving that. There's a data binding layer as well as data sources, which helps transport data between the server and your client. Then there's some additional items that are definitely benefits as well. We offer a free studio. We have a cloud that's underway, and we've got extensive support services. So whether you want ticket-based support during development, deployment support, or even consulting alongside your team, we offer all of those services. Our goal as a platform is simple. We want to be the fastest from zero to an application. There's a common metric in web stacks. How fast can you get people from zero to hello world? And we want to take that a step further and get you right into an application as easy as possible. For more information, you can go to our main website, Wakandaorg. I'd suggest you get involved. We've got a great community of people, an active forum, and certainly help from our team to get you up and running or to help you solve any problems that you're having. So let's go through the business side first. I've been interfacing with a lot of our developers over the last quarter. One thing I've noticed is we've got several major projects that were launched into earnest development over the past quarter. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing, and we've got some really solid metrics, good signs that the Wakanda platform's gathering adoption from serious developers. We're starting to see support contracts being taken up, as well as we've had some consulting services. What we offer is we offer, for instance, a quick start, where we help you decide on and evaluate the architecture of your platform, possibly security audits, any of these sort of complementary consulting services. So we've seen an uptick in those as well. Wakanda 8 went to production, which I'm sure you're all aware, and Wakanda 9 into the development channel. A lot of interesting features. I know Ricardo's going to cover a lot from Wakanda 8. Wakanda 9, off the top of my head, we've got some interesting ones such as WebSockets and an object attribute type. The enterprise version was released. Right now we're doing pricing via quote. That will be initially how we'll be doing it. We've hired several key employees in various roles, technical roles, marketing roles, and business roles. And we're really looking forward to see how these team members can benefit the platform as a whole. We've got our cloud is in private beta testing with our first group of end users. So there's a select number of developers who were invited to come give the cloud platform a kick. It's definitely in a beta stage, but we're making progress, and you'll be hearing more about that as time goes on. Going forward, we're going to be ramping up training-focused webinars again. There's been we've been doing the quarterly updates like clockwork, and that will continue, but we want to get back to offering training-focused webinars for you on a monthly or every other month basis. So I'm going to do a demo here of something that I see as a common business case, a use case for Wakanda. A lot of people have talked about, how do I manage a site that's very sensitive to SEO? And it turns out Wakanda is a great dynamic page server. It can operate much like you would have built a traditional website with PHP in the back end. I'm going to show how, some basics with URL routing. I'm going to do a demo of templating and using contextual data. And I'm going to live code pretty much all of this from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into Studio. I'm going to use Wakanda 8 for this. And I'm going to go very quick because we're going to be tight on time. So I'm going to create a new solution. The concept we're going to work with is, I found a lot of people are dealing with smaller businesses building custom software. A lot of those businesses have public-facing sites. There are times and places to use our widget set. To me, if I were building, for instance, a responsive site that was going to be consumed by the public in general, I probably wouldn't utilize our widget set in that particular use case. I would go to something, along the lines of Twitter Bootstrap or another other CSS methods. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to make a realty firm software. So that will start up a new solution. And we'll have a default project there. I'm going to go straight into the settings. We're just going to do this on port 80, so I don't have to do any port additions on the end of my URLs. That's all we need in there. I'm going to set up my project a bit. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the web folder. I'm going to remove the default index page. I'm going to create some folders just for some structure. First one I'll start with is the scripts folder. Inside the scripts folder, I'm going to make a library folder where I'm going to use handlebars as a templating library in this example. I'll be putting handlebars in there. We'll go ahead and I've got a pre-built module that I'm going to use. It's in my assets folder here. So this modules folder, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go into my newly created solution, into the project, scripts, at this level here, I'm just going to paste in this modules folder. So if you have common JS modules, you want to put them at the project level, and that's where they're accessed, and that's a specifically named folder. We'll go through this module a bit. It's just a very simple module to give me some helpers to work with handlebars. Next thing I'll do is I'm going to create a Bootstrap file. So this is a file that gets evaluated when the server starts. So a new JS file, we'll just call it Bootstrap. And I'm going to right click and assign that the role of active Bootstrap. Finally, I'm going to make one last folder. It's going to be a templates folder. This is where I'm going to keep all my handlebar templates. That'll be at the project level as well. So I've got my basic projects set up where I want to keep things, my directory. I'm going to go back to the browser here. I'm going to actually go download handlebars. So we'll get to their site. I'm going to download it. We'll put it right in the library directory. So desktop, realty firm, the project. Let's go to this view solution folder. or scripts folder, sorry, and then library. So I'm going to save the handlebars JavaScript file there. And then we'll go back into Wakanda Studio. And we're going to make a new JavaScript file called required.js. This is a special file that's executed when the project starts up. And right here, we're going to include the handlebars library. So I'm going to include scripts, and I'll just give it the path, lib, and then we'll just grab this exact file name here. And this will give us access to the handlebar methods. And that is it for required. So let's close that up. Let's build a model. That's where I typically start. So for a real estate company, first thing we're going to start with is a listing data store class. So the plural of that is listings. And I'm just going to talk as I go. Let's do an address title. I'm going to do some public-facing sites, so we're going to use this. We'll need this for marketing. Let's do a subtitle. That'll be a string as well. Let's do a list price, which is the number, list date, and we'll do a category just as a string. Second data store class I'll make, let's do agent. So we'll have real estate agents, and first thing we will do is a real estate agent will have potentially several listings. So I'll put listings, create a one-to-many relationship, and then we'll give the agent data store class some attributes. So maybe we'll go with first name, last name, title, and we'll go full name. And we'll do that. We'll make it a JavaScript, so a calculated attribute. And in our onGet, what we're going to do is return this dot first name, and you've probably seen this before, plus this dot last name, plus we'll do a comma, space, and then plus this dot title. So we'll get Bob Jones, comma, sales representative anytime we go for full name. So I'll save that, and we'll go back to the model. Keep going a little bit. So we're going to allow each agent to have their own website with a domain name, so that'll be a string. We'll do a web title, so that'll be the title of their individual web page. And then we'll do a web intro. So this will be an introductory paragraph, for instance, on their website. So that'll be a string as well. So that's our model. I'll go ahead and save that. We're going to create a back-end interface page. So I'll go new page. So this will be a Wakanda routing page. Let's call it app. And we're going to build a very simple interface. I'll go ahead and start with agent. We're just going to make a grid. And I'm just going to give us some quick data management capabilities. So we'll create that grid, line it up a little bit. I'll set up the sizing so that it will grow with the page in both directions. And actually, I'm going to change the theme as well under design. Go with this soft gray theme. So there's a list of agents, and we'll go up here and we'll create a new data source, a relation attribute type data source, and we're going to actually get the agent's listings. So this will be the listings that belong to that agent. I'll drag that on, and we'll also do a grid for that. Okay, size that. So this one I'll just have anchored to the bottom. So we go to design, styles, and we'll anchor it to the bottom. Horizontally it will grow, and we'll detach it from the top, so it's going to float at the bottom. So I'll save that. Let's take a look at it. I'll start the solution. So one other thing I wanted to show you, so if I go to 127 flat out, actually, sorry, it's app. So there's our application, And the other thing I wanted to show you was I did some system settings here where I've mimicked different domains. So I've got domain1.localhost. That goes there. So I've got domain 1, 2, and 3. And this is how we're going to mimic some URL routing based on the different domains. So keep that in mind. I'm going to use these later on. So let's just stick with 127 for now. And let's create some quick data. So we'll create let's do a sales rep, my domain. Let's give me that first one. And web title, Greg's famous website. And this is an intro paragraph for Greg. Make another one, Dave Wilson. Maybe they're a broker. We'll give them domain 2. And I'll do some bragging about Dave, the greatest broker in the world. Okay, so we've got 2 sales reps. And let's add some properties for each. We'll start with Dave, and I'll just give some random data. So he lives on his own street, so Wilson Ave, subtitle, a great home. We'll do a list price on this one of $200,000, and list date, and we'll do a category of default. Next one, this one will be 990,000 or 999. Put the list date in the same realm. And then this one will be category luxury. Let's go up to the Greg and do a couple more. So we'll do this one, 1.8 million. And pick a listing date. And the category, this will again be luxury. So we've got a little bit of data. And this is the whole thing is we're 0 to app very quickly. It's a basic interface, but it's working. I'm already writing data to the server, creating relationships, a lot of interesting things. So let's work with that. I've shown you the domain name, so we're going to go ahead and start working with routes. Most of what I've shown so far you're probably familiar with. So we're going to start in our, I'm going to stop the solution because when you mess with the bootstrap file, you want to restart the server. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add HTTP request handler. And what this looks for is it looks for first a route. So I'm going to escape the / end with $. And what this, it's a regular expression. This specifies index. So if you go straight to the domain or you put a leading /, you'll get this route. Nothing else will hit. The next thing we do is we specify the JavaScript file where we're going to keep our routes. So we're going to keep those in the scripts folder, and we're going to call it routes.js. And then the last thing you do is you specify the function you want it to call. So let's do the index route. So there's our HTTP request handler. So anytime a request comes in, it verifies against all of these request handlers that you can set up. The next step is we need to go into scripts and make that routes file. So new JS file, routes.js. And we've got function index route. And what we're going to do in here, when you do a request handler, you get a request and a response object. So I'll call them that, and the first thing we'll do is we'll just return the route works. I'll save that. So I'm going to start the solution. go back to our browser. So I'm using the Wakanda router. It's going to the app page based on the directory. If I take this out, now it's going to go through that specific HTTP request handler that I set up. So you can see that the route's working. So we're going to go ahead and do something a little fancier now. Let's go back to Wakanda Studio and let's work on this a bit. So I told you I'd show you this. This is my handlebars helper module. All it's doing is it's allowing me to set a template folder. I've done templates as the default, which I already have set up. So there's my folder. You can customize where that folder is. And all this is doing is it's giving me, allowing me to grab a file, process it through handlebars with the compile, and pass some data to that particular function. So you can take a look at this. I'm going to commit this at the end of the session to my GitHub account, so you can dig through as much as you want. But let's use this. So I'm going to go var handlebar helper, so HBH equals require, and we just use the name of that module, so HB helpers.js. So that gives us access to those functions. I'm going to make the next one, which is a context, and we're just going to give it an object, literal, and we're going to fill this up with some things. So the first thing I'm going to give it property title, and we'll just call the company page. This will be our default company information. We'll do an intro paragraph. This is the company website, not an individual agent. And then now we're going to give it a listings property. And the way we're going to do this, we're just going to go ds.listing.all, and it's going to show everyone's listings, but we're going to also go to array. And this is going to give it to us in a nice clean array format, and we'll be able to work with that data. Next, we're going to build up the response. So we'll do response.body equals, and this is where we're going to use our handlebar helper, so hbh.process, which is the function I created, and we're going to pass in a specific name of a template. So let's go ahead and make a new file. I guess a good name would be a company template, and I didn't want JS. We'll do HBS, which is sometimes used for handlebars. Okay, so actually I made a JavaScript file. I need to just go new file. So company template.hbs. Okay, so we've got a blank page there. So we're going to process, I'm going to give it the file name, company template.hbs. It's going to find that file, and I'm going to pass in our context data. And then after that, we're going to set a header, so response.headers dot and capital content underscore type equals, and we'll just do text/HTML, and then it'll send an HTML page. It'll specify that content type for the browser. So let's go ahead and start building a bit of a template. So I don't know if you're familiar with handlebars, but it's pretty easy to understand. Let's just start with an HTML tag. We'll close that. Do head. Actually, and this should be pretty basic for everyone. So we've got a head and a body. We'll give it a title. And what we'll do is, this is how you do handlebars. Double curly brace like mustache, and you can use any number of JavaScript templating languages here, but we'll just put in title. And this is going to take the data from that context object and use it here. In the body, we'll just go ahead and just do an H1, I guess. with also title, and we'll make sure that this is working right. So what we should get is we should get a simple page with title in an H1 and in the window name. So I'm not sure if I need to start the server on that one. I don't know if I don't think I touched the bootstrap file, but we'll do it just to be safe. So I'll start it up. So we'll go back here. Sorry. I didn't save my routes file. So go back, try that again. There we go. Okay, so we're in our, we've got three parts here. We've got our bootstrap that specifies the path. We've got our routes that actually does the logic to send the page out, and we've got a template that's done in handlebars. So let's expand on this template a little bit. Let's start by making it look a little better. We'll go to get bootstrap. And getting started. So we'll just grab the CDN links and back in Wakanda, we'll put those in the head. And that will be good for that. We'll put a div wrapping this with class equals container. And let's build this out a little bit. We'll do a paragraph with the intro, and then we will do a table class, and these are bootstrap classes, table striped, I think it is. Close that. And we're going to do some more handlebars inside the table. We'll do a loop, an each. So for each listings, which is the name of the array in our context, we will do this. So we'll close that each. And in here, we're going to make a table row. And we'll do TD with a few different values in here. So what we'll do is we'll take the attributes of the listing now. So this is from the listing array. So we've got address title, I think it was. We've got subtitle. And we have list price. So save that. See what that's looking like now. So there you go. We've got all our listings looping through using handlebars. So that's a company page. Now let's do a quick modification to our route, and let's make this work for individual agents. So we've got our handlebar require, and when you do, I'll show you this by doing a debugger, but this request, I won't do the debugger because I'm out of time, but this request comes in with a bunch of different information, and one of those is the host, which is the URL. So we're going to go ahead and put an if first, though. We're going to look and see if it's an agent. So var agent equals ds.agent.find. We're going to look for someone who has the domain equal to the host. It's request.host. That will have the URL in it. So now we've looked for that agent. If agent equals null, so it doesn't find an agent, then we're going to serve up that page we just made because it's a company page. Else, we're going to serve up an agent page, and all we're going to have to do here is just make a new context that's an agent context. So we have our agent object, our entity, so we'll just change this up to the title will be agent.fullname. The intro we've got in the database, so we'll just do agent dot, what did we call it? Web intro, I think. And then the listings, we just change this to a query. Query agent.id equals, and then our placeholder, and the agent ID will be equal to agent.id, which is the entity we found. So we're going to filter for the listings that belong to this agent. We're going to put in the data that they've specified in the database, and we're going to serve that up. So I'll save that. We'll go back to here. So 127, you get the company page. Domain1.localhost, you get Greg McCarvell and only the associated listings. And I'm not sure which domain I associated with other people. But so see here, what I've done is I've created a website that's serving up contextual data. I could put a different layout in there if it was a sales rep. You can get into all kinds of different things. So I thought that was interesting to show. Let's do one more step. Let's start interacting with it. So I'll go back into the template. I'm going to copy paste some code because I'm running late because of my typo. Below the table, we're going to put in a form, and this is going to be, let's say, for a showing request. They want to see that listing. So we've got a label on a combo box, and the combo box is looping through and creating an option, or it's a select box, sorry, creating an option for each listing. The value is the ID of the listing, and the label in the pop-down menu is the address title. Then we've got a name, phone, when, and then we've got a submit button. So what we want to do now is we want to create a route to handle this. So we're going to go into our stop server, go into Bootstrap. I'll just copy this, paste. So this time we're going to, let's say it's showing request. So this will be the URL. If they do /showing request, they will get this. It's the same file, routes, but this time we'll do a showing request route. So we've got our listener done. Go back into our routes. We're just going to make a new route function, showing request route, and that will match the HTTP request handler that we set up. And again, we're going to get a request and a response. And I'll just put a debugger in here, and I'll show you what we get. So in that form, you can see that the submit action is book showing. So I want to change that to showing request. I think I had it. Let me double check. Showing request. And so when I hit that, it's going to do a post method, send in these variables. Let's save everything. Let's start the server. And this is my last demo. So let's do a refresh. I've got my form. I can choose based on the two listings that are there. If I went to the company page, I'll get 3 of them. I'll get my 3 listings. And let's submit it. We'll get our debugger up. And what you can do here is then you can do whatever you want with this data. So the data is found in the request.parts, and it's an array. So if I do parts 0, sorry, I want to do request.parts 0.toText, and that will give you the actual value, I thought. Maybe I messed up. So you get, okay, so as text, not to text. do one.asText. There you go. So we can take these values, create an entity in a, say, a showing data store class, and away we go. So that concludes my demo. The point here was I wanted to show you that Wakanda is a great tool for serving up a more traditional style website with whatever front end you want, dynamically generated on the server. So Ricardo, are you ready? I'm sorry for wasting your time on that one typo.
Hello everybody. Greg, that was awesome, and bravo for not giving up the the little
Well, I want to
detail.
thank Brian. I
That
owe
was
him
great.
a beer for sure. So I'm going to make you the presenter. You should get a dialogue.
Okay. Show my screen. Okay, there we go. Are you guys seeing my screen?
I'm not seeing it yet.
Okay,
There you go. You're good to go.
it's good to go. All right. Today, let's go for Wakanda 8 first, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the new features that we are planning to integrate. I will try to show a new type of attribute, which is the object attribute, which is quite exciting for people creating schemas that need a little bit of more complexity or flexibility. So just to go straight to Wakanda Studio number 8. What I want to show here is just the final result that we have from this delivery. As you see, I have my add-on extension ready to go, but I want to make sure that everybody knows that how to get that extension. So you can get to our forum, and then you have a post right on the top which says the add-on extension. If you go there, you have the latest zip that you can download, or you can just go to our GitHub account, which is this one. Then you have a few extensions there. You can choose. You can download that through GitHub and install the add-on directly on your machine. How do you do that? Just to confirm that everybody it's good with that, because it helps a lot. So you go to your Wakanda Enterprise Studio. I'm using a Mac, but what I go to show package contents. I go to contents and extensions. So when you install an extension, you just drop the extension here. I just got that folder and drop it here, and the extension will be available for you in the studio. Okay, so let's not waste time. Let's start a new project, a new solution. Let's call, we are April webinar. Okay. All right. I'm going to click in the extension. I do have a widget already here, table view, but I left there on purpose because I want to show you a functionality, and I have no themes right now. Themes, and when I click now, if you can see, you have a nice interface which shows how many themes we have, how many widgets. If you have been following since the release of Wakanda 8 in the last 5 or 6 days, we grew the list quite a bit. For your widgets, you have plenty starting to come, and each one, it's a good example for you guys to probably use, extend, and improve your page. And we have some few extensions as well available. You can just download to your computer. So how that really works. So in the widget sections, you can see that you have like an upgrade or an install button. So if you already have if you already have the widget and is up to date, it's going to say installed. So for example, if I install the gauge, I click, is installed, so the button becomes disabled, and in the widget folder I have my gauge there downloaded. What I want to show you guys, which is a new thing, is when you upgrade. For example, my table view, the table view that I have downloaded some few days ago, is out of date. So I can upgrade my table view. When I upgrade, what's going to happen is now I have a new table view. I'm going to close this. I have the new table view is here, and the old one was copied here. So when you download a new widget, you have if you were upgrading a new widget, you're gonna keep the history of the widgets with you. So if something happened, you can just copy this folder back again here, delete this one, copy this folder back here, take it out, the date number that we add to just make sure that you have the continuation. So you can have many copies of table view depending on the date. And anyways, it's very handy, which gives you a little bit more of security when you update your widget. All right, so I'm going to jump in and just give an example. I'm going to start a page. And well, for that, I need a model. I'm going to do a little classes. I'm not going to be as fast as Greg because I have a baby brain right now. Thank you, Greg, for noticing that I just had a little baby. And my lack of sleep is going to impact my typing. But let's try. All right, so let's call this, I don't know, my webinar table. It's just for a test. I'm going to create, let's say, name, which is going to be a string. Let's say level, just to do number. And I'm going to create percentage, which is going to be also a number. And let me say I'm going to create a card, which is going to be a string. And actually the card I'm going to create as you know now, when you create a calculated attribute, you have the choice to choose where you're going to save. I'm going to just accept that. That is okay for me. And here I'm going to do return. Let's say my company plus the name of the company, or the name of this attribute that I just gave. All right, I save. My model is basically done. Just to show you, everything is saved. All right, I have my already created webinar table here. Everything looks good. What I would like to do also is to populate that table with some data, random data. So let's go for new JS file. I'm going to create a file called load data. Okay, and I'm going to cheat a little bit because Greg is too fast for me. I am baby brain. I'm going to just copy here a little guy, and I was playing two guys. So basically what I'm doing, I'm creating 100,000 rows in this table, and I'm just in the name I put testing, or let's send something else. Say my company, and I add that the iterator, so it's going to be my company 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so far. For level, I give a number from 1 to 10, and for percentage, I give a number from 1 to 100. So, and then at the end, I save my operation. So I'm going to run this. It's going to run for a while. We're creating 100,000 rows in this table. Oops, I forgot something there. Oh, of course. I copied something that was not correct. All right, wait a second. Go ahead. Sorry for that. My table is not control. My table is called webinar. Right? Yes, that looks a little better. Then it's run. I just created 100,000 rows in my table. Great. So let's create a page. And we're gonna, for fun, create something. Let's say a little smartphone. So I create a smartphone page. What I'm gonna drop is navigation view, for example. So I have a little navigation view here. What I'm going to do is to use my table view that I just downloaded, that I just upgrade. So I'm going to put my table view inside my my phone application, and here what I'm going to do, source, well, I'm going to just drop my webinar source inside. Oops, sorry. Webinar source inside, and I'm going to add which attributes. Let's say name. I'm going to say name and name here, and I'm going to add as well level, just for fun, level. Okay, that's so far so good, and I'm going to just put 5 for page size. Okay, this pretty much is done. I save, I will run. There I have, on theory, I should have a screen way smaller than that, but well, it's just to give you guys an idea that now I have a table that is that has a pagination. So I can put here, I don't know, let's go to the page 1000. And when I click right now, I have the page 1000 there. So I have the level and so far. So that's good. All right. So let me just put a little bit something else. Let's go and get another widget. I'm going to go to the widgets, and I'm going to get. I'm not too worried right now with the visual aspect. So I'm going to get, for example, this one, switchery, which I already used, and I found that was quite nice. So I close. So I have my switchery downloaded here. I have to close this page and open again, so I can charge that widget. My switchery is here. I'm going to put on the side, I don't know, something like that. And when I click, so what is the name of my navigation view? Is navigation view 1. So if you see here, you have navigation 1. It's my navigation widget. So I'm gonna, when I click on this guy, I would like to go to the next view. So let's create another view. Let's create the second view. Let's go back to the first one. And when I click in the first one, when I click here, so in this widget, the person that developed that gave an event. It's called onChange. So I'm going to go to onChange, and I'm going to say, well, I'm going to use jQuery here. Let's say navigation view, oops, navigation view 1. Let's go to next view. Cannot be more easier than that. Okay, I save that. So in the second view, let's go to the second view. Second view, I have nothing right now, but let's put, for example, a gauge. Sorry, I'm putting my, with my French accent. Okay, I put the gauge. It's a little too big, but you guys. Let's add that to percentage. So I'm going to get percentage and drop in the gauge. So the gauge is going to show me the percentage that we defined it before, 0 to 100. So if I save my page, I think I get everything done correctly. Let's run. I have my little guy here, which is my table with that I can move to, for example, the page 50,000. Or maybe it's too. I have 20,000, so it's going to be impossible to go to the page. Let's go to the page 1000 again. Okay, as you see, it's quite it's very fast to move from the page 1 to the page 1000 to the page 20,000. If I switch, I have my gauge, and the percentage is like, I don't know, 65, 70 right now. Oh, 60. Yeah, it's right here, the number. Okay, so let's use again the, maybe let's use again, yeah, the switcher, just for fun. Or should I put a button? Just to give you guys an idea, don't worry too much about the visual aspect right now. I'm going to put a button right here, and I want to say I want to add a QR code. For that, I'm going to create a QR code. So I'm going to call this button QR code. And okay, this is QR code. If I go to the events and when I click, what I would like to do is absolutely the same. I'm going to go to the next navigation view. Okay, next navigation view is save. In my page here, I'm going to add a new view. There's nothing there. So I set the QR code. So let's go to, or a barcode. Well, let's get the QR code. I go to my widgets. I go to my QR code. It is not installed yet. I installed. This widget is there. Okay, my QR code is here now. It's available for me. I will close and I'll save. I'll close and open again to get the QR code in my list. Of course, if I had downloaded all the widgets already, I would not be, I don't need to do this back and forth. But I'm just showing to you guys, I'm forcefully showing the download of widgets and how you would maybe start to work with that. So I have the QR code here. Sounds good. I save. I will run. Then you have Blue Company, select number 07. I will switch. I have the QR code in the page, and when I say the QR code, that's my QR code, which if you flash in your computer right now, you are going to have my company and the number of the company is the field that we defined. Okay, everything is okay. All right, so but let's do something else. Let's go back to what we can see. Oh, of course, let's download a new theme, because these themes I have now, for example, the iOS 7, I can install that, which is interesting. And I'll have also the Wakanda mobile, so I'm going to install that as well. So I can play with those two themes while I'm doing my little example app. So those themes will download right here. And the same way, I'm going to close and I'm going to open. Remember that once you have everything done already, you'll be straight. I click, I go to design, and now I have my iOS 7, which is a flat design. There we go, I have my flat design there. I can execute that and maybe check it out how it goes. All right, I click here, I have a little flat design. Back. Okay, or I can try the new also Wakanda team. Wakanda mobile team. I click, I run. It's a little different, but it's in the same way. See the percentage change by the company that I choose now is 11. If I go back anyway, so if I go back to the page 10, let's go to the page 10. I go to 48. This one is going to be almost 57, and the QR code is going to be the company and the number. So my point here for you, all of you listen to this webinar, is we are changing the game as to the number of widgets and the number of possibilities we can add to Wakanda. As you just saw it, we have 27 new widgets, 3 new themes, some extensions, and we are counting on also the community to help us to enlarge those numbers. What's going to be happening very soon, the next webinar, I want to show you guys, I'm very excited about that, because we are about to finish our behavior in the widget architecture that's going to guarantee, that's going to implement the what we call the repeater. The repeater is a behavior that's going to allow us to create widgets like the matrix, like a list view, many other examples that you need replication of some lines or some group of widgets, all that bindable with the data source and everything. So the next webinar, I'm going to work very hard to show you guys already our new matrix, because that's going to be also a new game changer, because the new matrix is going to accept any type of new widgets, and then you can handle better the visual aspects of your application. Okay. Greg, do you want to have any questions for this right now, or should I just move forward to, for example, the type object? How do you feel that?
I think we'll do a couple quick ones here if you want.
Sure.
So what
Related
API?
to the widgets, yeah.
Yeah, I've got one. What API changes are coming to the widget? Are there any?
Of the widget, of the API that's already there in place, we're not planning much. But what we created is a system that accepts, and it can be added behaviors, right? So I'm going to tell some of the behaviors that we are working on right now. We are working a behavior that is the format. So if you want to get the data of your widget formatted in some specific way, it could be a date, it can be a value, it can be a currency, it can be something completely with regex. You're going to be able to customize through this behavior the format of your the items and the attributes of your widget. Very powerful. We have the repeater, which is going to be our main behavior to allow us to create repeated lists of widgets, which is quite exciting. We have the template, which will give us when you define your attribute in your widget, you can define the attribute as a template attribute, which means that if you put the text, and we are going to use handlebars, as Greg just showed. So if you put the, how do you call that in English? The sign that you use to handlebars in English is
curly brace.
Curly brace. Thank you, Greg. So if you use like the same type of structure, your widget will change automatically. We already have an example of that that widget in. I'm going to show you guys that. That maybe makes sense to show this. Let me just delete this one. Delete this one as well. We have a widget called. It's already using it. This widget is already using it. Where is it? List view. The list view is already using as a template system. I'm going to show you right now how it works. I need to close this, save, yes, and open again to get that widget in my list. Perfect. So I have the list view here. If I drop the list view now here, this is a new list view. So you have this template is not very charming, but you have a list of other templates. And what you do now is you can, so it's just a list of templates. And but what you can do, you can come to the list view yourself, go to a file called templates.js, and you define. So my template one, it is like this. So you can put images, you can put whatever you want. So we give you the possibility to you yourself change this value here, put something related to your your product, to your list. You can create an image, a title, a subtitle, as you wish. You configure your HTML there, and that will be automatically transposed to the widget here. So it's going to show here. And then you can just define, once you define your data source here, for example, if I drop if I put the webinar here, for example, yeah, the webinar. So then I can define my ID and my name as, for example, name and level. No, that's not good. So level and name. There you go. So then this template is going to be shown like that. I don't know if it was a little confusing, but this widget is going to show quite well how to. It's already using the template system, but it was not integrated with the architecture. This is going to come in the next version.
Okay. A lot of people are curious when they'll start seeing new versions of the bundled widgets, such as the tab view, the combo box.
9, version 9. We're already putting that out. So it's going to be available already in development, and the development channel probably next week. Next week we're already releasing the stabilization version of Wakanda 9. This is also very important for the community to understand. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen a pattern, but we implemented a type of cycle of development now that when we put something in production, in 10 days or less, we release the stabilization version of the next Wakanda. So that's quite handy for you that are planning to understand or trying to understand what's coming next and what are the efforts to pass from one version to the other to beta test. So it helps the whole cycle for us and for the community, and we are seeing a lot of good results because of that. So we have more time for the community to test. They pointed out some bugs if they find, we correct, and then we plan to do that as soon as we release Wakanda 9, 1 week, 10 days after we release Wakanda 10 in stabilization. So it's a pretty healthy type of environment.
So is the plan on the roadmap to list widgets individually as far as their progress? I think you've been doing that thus far. So that will that be continued when you start a new built-in widget? You'll keep it on the roadmap, and that will be the best way to find out.
Yeah, I'll try my best. Unfortunately, we had some we planned to release the top view, for example, the top view in this version, but we had a little problems with the studio side, which is the panel, this panel here. It needs to be a little bit more. We had problems with because the top view is a composed widget, is a widget inside another widget, and we had a little problems to identifying that because we're simplifying what just for the community to understand. To use the studio before with the old architecture, when you drag and drop a studio inside drag a widget inside the studio added some layers to be able to select, to be able to understand that widget in a different way, to manipulate that widget. That was not very healthy and created a little problems for us in the past. So the new architecture is not doing that. So when you see a widget in the new architecture, it is pretty much what you're going to see in runtime. There's no extra layers added to the widget, which makes it simple to do copy and paste, to do everything around the widget will be more simple for us. And because of that, the selection of sub widgets, it was a little bit more trickier. So we had to create this a mechanism where the widget asks to the architecture, who am I? Am I a sub widget? Am I a widget? And that process, it was not possible to put in Wakanda 8, but it will be in Wakanda 9, and you're going to see a lot of not just the top view, because then it's going to be probably the top view and other widgets that are going to be there that are complex.
Okay, so let's move on and take a look at the JSON attribute, or the object attribute.
Okay, for the JSON the object attribute, so I'm going to close Wakanda 8 now because we don't need any more Wakanda 8 for this. This is just available. No, I don't mind. I don't need to save. This is available only in the dev channel, right? So you're not going to find that in the Wakanda 8. So where's my Wakanda 9 or Wakanda dev development? So here I'm going to also QR server because the order server. Okay, so Wakanda 9, or the last version, I got this version this morning, so I hope everything is going to be all right. Well, the interesting thing about this feature, it's a feature that right now is implemented only on the server. We are kind of planning how we're going to do because it's such a powerful feature that we need to see how we're going to handle that in the studio. So it may risk to get into Wakanda 10, but that's coming. So, and you guys are going to understand quite well because the new type of developer that we are going to see, that we are seeing, it's a developer that is using HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript for the whole solution. They're tired of too many. I just had a client today that told exactly what we have been talking internally. Developers are tired of so many little pieces to put together a bunch of things. a lot of little frameworks. So you have to get your HTTP server, you get your database, you got to, there's a lot of little parts that need to be bundled for you to start to develop, even to start your first project. So Wakanda kind of simplifies a lot that which one only solution in one product and JavaScript, HTML, and CSS3. What is interesting as well is because of that, because Wakanda brings from the server, from the HTTP server to the database to the ORM layer to the client side, developers are also looking a lot on the server side, which we had a lot of developers that were more just client side, just doing screens. What I'm trying to say is the web developer that I saw in the past was just worried about visually how to represent things, and now they're starting to get the full big picture. They can build the projects by themselves, including the server side. And that becomes a challenge, especially to understand databases, just to understand configurations of your server. Wakanda helps a lot in that direction. So for the database, the case that we are trying to solve is when you have, for example, let's say you have contacts. Okay, you want to do a table of contacts. In your table of contacts, right now we have, we're in a world that your contacts may have Facebook account, Twitter account, Pinterest account, an email, many fields that not all of them are going to have. Some of them are going to have. So how do you represent that in your model? Do you create one huge table with all those fields? Do you create one table with like a lot of relations with other tables? No. So to structure that in a different way, we have the type object. So let's get into. I'm going to go slowly to every aspect of it, and the server side right now. So let's create a new solution. Let's call it. Let's go to my contacts. Let's say just contacts. Once you do, we have talked about contacts. Contacts. Okay. I'm gonna add to my model. Let's add to my model. An ID, of course. Yeah. I would like, let's say, first name, string, last name, the string, let's say phone. I know that's standard for all my clients, and I'm going to say a field call, let's say, I don't know, extra or more info. More extra will be shorter for now, but you are going to get the picture. And I'm going to create that as an object. Okay. So, oh, I left data class 1. Okay, so I save. So I have extra, first name, last name, phone, and extra. Extra is an object. Right now, I don't have a way to index yet the objects through the panel of properties. This is already the server side is already developed, but it is missing a few little things that are going to be added for Wakanda 9. So what I'm going to do is, but I have a way, and so you guys are going to see a way to, for example, index one of your attributes. So you can go to model, and you can do like data class 1, and you can say the field extra, right? That's the name that we put it. We're going to say that the index kind of this. So please call object pass path, and there we go. If I save that, a sec. How do I need to say? I need to recharge. Okay. Model needs to change. Now I save. Why I didn't get the index there? Give me a second. Save. Okay, in theory, extra. I think when we start the server, I need to start the solution to get that. No. Anyways, we're gonna see if there's still a little things to fix in that side. But anyways, you have the extra field, which is an object, and in my model, I just ask to index that field. So, all right, that's done. Let's now create. Let's start to build some, add some data. So what I'm going to do is let's create a file, new JS file, which is going to be. Oops, I don't know what happened. A second. There we go. I open contacts for some reason. JS file. Okay, so I'm going to say load data. I'm going to create. I have load data here. I'm going to go really slow for everybody seeing this, which is, well, I'm going to do a traditional. The first one was going to be a little slow, but then we copy and paste the rest. So let's just create a var, a variable, and let's give to that variable a new. As you guys know, DS holds our data class. All right. And I'm gonna ask to create a new element. Let's say first name. It is, let's say, Mary. Last name, it is Roosevelt. Okay. And I think was phone that we put it. Let's do a phone 303-202-9999. Okay, that is my structure. I think that's all I need. Let's just close. Here we go. No errors. Good. I think we're good. So we just create a little element. Let's say first name Mary, last name Roosevelt, phone, and now let's create the c.extra element. Okay. So this element is going to be, I am open. So it's an object. So I'm open to add anything I want. So I can put, for example, the Facebook account. I don't know. Facebook is Mary Roosevelt. All right. And she also has, let's say, Skype, that it is Mary R. Okay, so, and let's say that she has an address as well. I could have done address on the top, but well, let's say that this address, it's an object as well. So if it is an object, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an object inside another object. So address, it is street, let's say she 100 First Avenue. Let's be quick, input list a zip 80,300. And state Colorado. Okay, I could go on and put a counter and stuff like that, but let's just do for the sake of the example. So I've closed that. I have to close one more. There we go. And as you know, in Wakanda, you have to, at the end, you do save. And I'm going to save this entity in my database. So if I run, it's going to create, probably is creating the index. Oh, what I have. he didn't like my model. So what did I miss that? Model data class 1 extra. Object fast. Do I have one more? Give me just a second. Now it's me doing something wrong here. Greg. Okay, so I have my model. I have my class. I have my field. If I'm not wrong, my field, let's say if my field is called extra, data class 1. Everything looks good. Index kind, yes. Oh, there we go. That's not good, Ricardo. It's missing a little equal. It's not a function. I'm sorry. Is it just an attribute? There we go. That's why we didn't see this. Now extra is bold, and that means that it is indexed. Okay, so let's go back there to my load data. I'm gonna run again. Yes, was that server? All right, I just created it, returned it true for me. Let me, for the fun as well, I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna do another one. Another element. I'm gonna just copy this to the end. All right, so, and let's say that now I have John. John Marlowe. Okay, his phone is a little different. 999-212 and 21999. He has a Facebook, yes. He is just John Marlowe. He doesn't have Skype, but he does have Pinterest. Pinterest is John. And his address is 1000 Colfax Avenue in Colorado. That's good. We're good. So I'm going to save this as well. So now, if I go, I'm going to start to explore already that data. And then after we create like, I don't know, 1,000 rows, and then we can play a little bit more. But to keep doing that, I'm going to create a new file, new JS file. We're going to call, I don't know, query data, just for fun. Query data. I'm going to create query data. Okay, let's say already ds dot data class. I'm sorry that I didn't put a name, a better name for my data class. Data class dot, let's say, let's say what that gives to us. So as you can see now, I have my 2 rows, and the extra, it is a complex object, okay, already mapped for you. And of course, I can do something like ds, let me copy this. I'm going to use that quite a lot. So I can do the famous query. And I can query for sure in something like extra dot address. What do they have in common address? Street that is equals 1. Doesn't make much sense there, but you guys have get the idea. Well, see if I execute, both starts with 1. That's not very good. Let's say the one that, what can I make a difference? I make them 2 close to each other. Okay, and let's put an end. And name, first name is equal M. There we go, and I execute. Then I have just Mary. So see, you can use all your objects, all the structure of your object in your queries. That's quite powerful, and everything inside is indexed. So you have a very fast response. So I can say, for example, here, let's say who has extra address, extra dot Pinterest is not no. So as you see, as you're gonna see, I'm gonna have, I think we just put one person. Let's go. John is there. He's the only one with Pinterest account. So that gives you a great deal of flexibility to adjust your data class to be much more flexible than what we have right now. So you can think of structures that are not structured by itself and to take advantage of that in a very elegant and very fast way. I repeat, you can have any structure, you can have objects inside other objects inside other objects. It's no problem. Index goes everything. In the future, you're going to be able also to index by one specific sub-object, let's say, inside your type object. Okay, so just to do a little bit more fun, I think I have something copied already, so I'm not going to waste much of the time of everybody. So Control C. Let me go here to the load data. Let's instead. The only thing that I need to change is this guy. Control V. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create, let's say, 1,000 rows. And this 1,000 rows, they have a name, a funny name here, but I'm going to try to make a different name. Tara, Mara. And Tara is going to have a number after each first name. And then the email is going to be something composed by the iterator. Is going to have a Twitter account, a Pinterest account, a Facebook account, an address that is kind of funky. I'm just use the iterator to just make a factor to create this. And then I'm also do a console log. So I'm going to do 1,000 console logs, and I'm going to show you guys why. Because now in Wakanda, you have for Wakanda 9, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the add-on is already there. You don't need to download anymore. It's going to be part of the product. And also you have a new extension called console, which makes very handy to have the console log of your server side. So when you click there, you open a little console, and which is a tab, which is quite handy. And then if you do, the load data, if now I execute this, let me see if there's anything wrong. No, I think so. It's run, it created 1,000 records. If I look my console, now I have all the elements that I created. So it becomes quite handy to query, to check visually your log consoles without having to open other things. So quite handy, this little extension that's going to be also available through the add-on to the add-ons, but it's going to be inside the product. So when you download Wakanda 9, it's going to be there for you. So now let's see if I do a query. Let's do a query. I'm there. So let's see that I want to just, well, if I do that, Pinterest is not no. Now I have a little bit more, probably 1,000 rows. So we did all that, 1,000 rows. So I can also say extra dot, let's change that to address dot street, that is equal 1 asterisk. So which is gonna be, let's see, actually, if there's not too many land. Let's execute. There you go. Oh, 113. We're good to go. Let's show them. I execute. There you go. 113 is right there for you. I did just since it was indexed, it was very fast. I was able to query into an object that's completely open, and I think it's a great functionality for Wakanda. So yeah, this is what I want to show you guys. Very simple. That's what we are planning to install. And Greg, if you want to open for questions, I'm ready.
Okay, so start entering questions if you have them. I have a couple, not a ton, but I'll tell you one thing, that looks really interesting. I can see uses for snapshotting revisions of entities.
Absolutely.
I was at a conference recently, and they were saying 90% of new data being brought in is actually unstructured data. So I think this is a really important addition.
Exactly, exactly. And even if you have a structured data, but for example, if you have like a big catalog of products, each product has a different specification, right? So some products they have technical information. Imagine building all that for all the products, all the specifications. It's quite a big work. So that's a real case that you can just apply a type object and take advantage right away of that type of problem.
Yeah. So let's, I've got one overarching question. Is
Yeah.
quite some time ago, I'd say when we did our first or second quarterly update, we were talking about you were making massive changes to the development workflow.
Yeah.
And the main concern there was we wanted better quality and better visibility. And
Hmm.
I've got people asking maybe an update on that. Are you in a place where you're happy? Have you seen a lot of improvement? Because sometimes it takes a while to bubble up to the surface, but maybe you can share a little bit with the progress you've been making on the internals of your development process.
Okay, that sounds good. Um, we pretty much change a lot since the beginning, pretty much everything. We have now first the cycle, which is way more stable right now. We don't try to push anymore any features if they are not completed and tested by our test department. The iterations in each cycle are being much more follow up much more closely, and the whole system of description of tasks, the whole system of approve of a task that needs to be implemented changed enormously. So we're starting to have the benefits of that. I would say since Wakanda 7 and 8 a little bit starts to improve, and I think there's just a ramp that's going to keep having. Also, which was quite important for us, which we didn't have before. It was a big fault in terms of architecture in the past. It is like right now, what we have the continuous integration. Everything that we do is in the next day available for the community. That's a big effort in terms of internal system. But what we have been doing here, and since we are very focused on web development, right now when someone is, we build up a way to test the work that we are doing and the new parts, which mean the new architecture, the WD2, the system of charging packages, the new architecture, and this improvement that we are planning to do in the studio. All these are coming with a massive series of unit testing, and it is a unit testing that is completely integrated, where we are using frameworks here that the developer, as soon as he saves, he has all his tests run in the background. If something's wrong, it pops up right away in front of him. So for the new functionality that we are adding is going really well, and now is going to be a work of looking for the things that are already there, and when we are touching them, we're trying to make the effort to also add tests on top of that. So we're going to have a process that has tests for development, which is done by the developer, and he gets the response right away if he's touching a code. Then here at Wakanda, and since there's already a long time that we do that, when the feature is ready, goes to the test department and the QA department. And that it's a whole process. It's another process that's is gonna keep doing what has been doing for quite a while. They have like automated tests and like charge tests to see if the Wakanda server is holding the charge. So it's a different level of test. So all this is coming in this year. So it was a big year of change for us internally. And I think we're starting to see already some results. I think the widgets architecture is something that people are starting to understand that it's quite powerful, because you can import a lot of other libraries, and it makes really easy to work with the studio with
Yep.
that. So the improvements are going in a fast pace.